Hey loves, it's your girl Jade Alycia here, and this week I'm going to be talking about how to pick your perfect color palette for your business, your blog, whatever it is you're creating. And if you want to see how I was able to do it and how I recommend you can do it too, stay tuned. Hey, hi everybody, happy Sunday. So I am coming at you guys because I've noticed that so many people struggle with how do I pick the perfect colors for my business? I have no idea where to start, or you really like one color but you have no idea how to complement it with others that will pop, that will really attract your target market or give your target audience a certain feel or vibe when they come to your page. So I'm just gonna drop some tips that really I used and also how I went about picking the colors for my businesses. So there's so many different ways to honestly pick your perfect color palette, and this isn't just the only ways, but these are the main ways that I found are useful and helpful and ones that I've used personally myself. So let's start. So I used and picked colors for all three of my businesses that are colors that I really am drawn to personally, and that was because a lot of my, well, let's say three of my, so Jade Alycia INC, The Glamorous Touch, and The Unjaded Journaled are like personal branding brands, so my face is really heavily associated with those brands, so it just made sense for me to go ahead and pick colors that I wear on a day-to-day basis, that I have the majority of in my wardrobe, in my home, that I wear a lot and that I really just love and like ooze jade, like that's who I am. Those are my colors. So those colors are the ones you see here in my set. So they're mauve, gray, black, white, and sometimes a purpley mauve, but I love to stay towards the pink color mauve. So those are how I picked that color. I originally picked it just for Jade Alycia INC, which is my fashion brand where I create couture handbags and accessories for women. That is really where that color palette started, and I also tied in a jade green for a pop of an accent color. Again, tying back to my name, the play on my name, and the color. I really wanted to infuse that in the brand. So when I went for my second business, which was The Glamorous Touch, I wanted to keep that same color palette because I had done a bunch of trainings, business trainings, about people who did like multiple businesses and really how they mastered branding and keeping cohesive and allowing your audience to know that it's still you, but it's a little bit different. And they had recommended stick with the same color palette as your original business and then kind of switch the colors around. So for Jade Alycia INC, the main color is this pink mauve that you see in the background. But for The Glamorous Touch, I took out the jade green. I put very little of it, if it at all. And the main color was white and black for The Glamorous Touch with pops of that pink, but a darker color pink, because the very light mauve doesn't show up very great against white. So that's why I darkened that color. But it was still the same color palette, so pink, black, white, very little jade green, if any at all. So when I came across my next business, so my blog, really, The Unjaded Journal, I had a vision in mind for it. I wanted it to be very neat, modern, clean, very the same color palette but different. And so that's why the main color on there is really white, and you'll see a lot of the mauve pink mixed in on my website. So just to recap really quick before I move on, this right here is Jade Alycia INC, and if you see this, you see my website has a lot of pink. That's the main color. And then here is The Glamorous Touch, and it's a lot of white and black, as you can see from my homepage. And then I also have The Unjaded Journal, which is here every day. You know, I come here, and I'm also on Instagram. You guys can follow me at The Unjaded Journal, and you can see here from my website, it's very pink, mauve, white, a lot of that, heavy of that, a lot more grays, a lot more blacks, but it's very heavy on mauve and white. And you can see right here also my feed is very color coded and cohesive to go with the website. And if you guys want to know how I plan my feed, you can check out this video right here, which is plan my Instagram feed with me, and you guys can kind of go through my whole process about how I plan that out to make sure it's cohesive with my branding. Also, if you guys want to know how I was able to associate my face with my branding successfully for 3 businesses and a blog, check out this video, which is how to associate your face with your brand. Okay? So now moving on, my last business, which is jwbranding.co, which is literally like still new. I think it's about a year and a half now. It's still super new, just started in 2018. This one I definitely struggled with the most for branding because essentially Jade Alycia INC, the Glamorous Touch, and the Unjaded Journal all go together. Those 3 brands go together. But the jwbranding.co, I wanted it to kind of be separate from all 3 of those. So I wanted it to be different. I wanted it to not be heavily associated with my face. I wanted it to not be personal branding, but to really know the logo and the style of how I edit things and how I graphic design things and all that. So this one I struggled with the most because I was like, should I go with the same color palette or should I completely change it? And so I went mixing it around a lot, and I went back and forth. I even went to go pick new color palettes, and I really didn't like them. So I decided to go back to my original color palettes, and I went with a sage green, play off the jade green. I went with a gray, and then I went with a mauve, a pink mauve, and I really kept it muted. So the jwbranding.co palette is really heavy on lots of white and 3 accents, so pink, the sage green, and gray, charcoal gray. Those are the colors I went with. Those ones I felt most in tune with, and it also was great because it was the same color palette, but it's a much different brand, much different look, much different company and everything, separate from Jade Alycia INC, the Glamorous Touch, the Unjaded Journal. So here is what jwbranding.co looks like, my website. And also here's the Instagram, which is also cohesive with the website color palette. So you guys can see that there, and you can follow that at jwbranding.co. But I just want to show you how branding can go. And once you really, because I always started with the websites first, because once you design your website and you have all the colors that you want and the style that you want, you know how you're going to style your posts because they're going to want to reflect your website, because essentially Instagram, you want them to drive traffic to your website or whatever your link in the bio is. So for me, it's a company website, link in the bio. So I wanted to make sure the feed was nice and cohesive so that when they go to the website, they'll see it's the exact same thing and it's very similar, same vibes. Now here's the full packages that I offer, here's services that I offer, here's my portfolio, that type of thing. So another option you can use to picking a color palette is you can just go for colors that you want to trigger a certain emotion in your audience. So you can do blue, which will trigger different feelings than green. You can do red, which will definitely trigger different feelings than blue or green. It's way more intense, and I recommend if you want to go that route that you can research what each color triggers or like what emotion you're going for and pick your color palette like that. You can always do that, and don't be afraid to mix the tints and the shades to get like that perfect color, because it might be red but you might want to add a little bit more pink to the red to make it a little bit more pink. Sorry, more white to the red to make it a little bit more pink, or you might want to add black and that will make it darker, like a burgundy type color. You might want to do that. You can play around with that. You don't have to confine yourself to primary colors or just bright colors. You can definitely play around with the tones and the shades of everything until you get that perfect palette that you feel, this represents my brand, this goes perfect, this aligns with what my brand stands for and what emotions my brand is going to be portraying when I post things. So that is key to think about. And honestly guys, my last option or tip for picking your perfect color palette is to go on Pinterest and really Google like website layouts or website color palettes or inspiration for websites, some type of combination of that, because a ton of people pin and create websites and everything, and you can kind of see how different color palettes go with each other for certain types of brands or companies, websites, that type of thing. And even if you don't like the whole color palette, you can just pick out certain colors that you like, and then certain colors that you like here, or like certain colors that you have in mind to go with one color, and you can really find a lot of inspiration there as well. So definitely use Pinterest, use your resources, do your research, and that is how you pick the color perfect and that is how you pick the perfect color palette for your brand. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really loved making it. Give me a like, thumbs up, comment below what your perfect color palette is, if you like use the same color palettes over and over again like I did for your brands, or if you pick a different color palette for each brand. Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, and don't forget to watch these videos here, because it will also give you more advice on personal branding and building your brand. Bye guys!